This is the second time we've raced on the road course for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Of course, as mentioned, Sheldon Creed won in overtime last year. Who's going to come out on top this time? We're about to find out. Getting ready to roll. 44 laps. Ben Rhodes and Ryan Truex on the front row, and the green is out at Daytona.
On your right side, just 42 your bumper. Still clear, whatever you need there. One coming up right side, right side, right side. I'll clear after him, I'll clear after him.
How about John Hunter Nemechek?
The racetrack.
I think he missed the corner, Vince. Yeah. We talked about that. He slid through there. We got trucks spun around the wrong direction.
Collecting several, but it doesn't look like any significant damage. Certainly the one turned around, Rafael Assad in the 24, and still under green flag conditions. So we got to get it spun around and pointed the right direction.
Didn't you say he finished third here last year?
He did. He's got a long way to go now.
Yeah, he's got a lot of ground to make up. I like the dive bomb by John Hunter into turn one, but it didn't work out. Ben Rhodes came out on top as they head into the infield.
Well, just like Rhodes told you, Mike, as you visited with him, he wanted to get out front so he'd have the clearest vision, and that's the position he's in. Here's why everybody got tangled up. Just takes a little bit of contact.
Wow, that was synchronized spinning. Around they went, and you can see John Hunter, with his experience on this track, is beginning to put a little bit of heat on Ben Rhodes. And I like that run off that bus stop by John Hunter. You can see nice dive to the bottom. He's going to grab the lead.
John Hunter Nemechek putting in his bid to stay out front here at Daytona. First lap of 44. Short stages, just 12 laps in this first stage.
Yeah, but when you multiply that by 14 turns, Vince, we're going to see a lot of action. And
John Hunter Nemechek headed now through what we know as the turn 3 of the oval and headed toward what we will be familiar with as turn 4. As you see trucks going through the bus stop, and here comes John Hunter Nemechek.
I think it's interesting to see, Vince, also how these truckers take care of their tires. As the track dries out, these tires will wear. They're very soft. They have treads in them, but they're very soft, which allows them to have the grip in the rain. But as soon as the road starts drying out, it really becomes very wearing on those tires. Those tires will wear out, and they will go away.
How about radio on that topic from the 99 of Rhodes?
This place is going to dry out pretty quick here. You guys are going to have to be ready for some dries. As soon as we get a lane, we'll have to come. 10-4, we'll be ready in here.
You know why he says that, Vince? When we were here for the Cup race, Ty Dillon, he restarted 25th, put on slicks before anyone else did, drove all the way to first at the Roval. That was a year ago. But that showed all these teams, spotters, crew chiefs, how important those slicks are once the track starts drying. That's why everybody's so cognizant about what's happening with the track.
Last year's race winner here, Sheldon Creed, in that white number 2 truck, moves into second place, taking that spot from Ben Rhodes. And now Creed sets his sights on John Hunter Nemechek. Heavy rain earlier this evening, and then about a half an hour before the green flag, as you see Creed get off course a bit. About a half an hour before the green flag fell, the rain really calmed, and it had a little bit of a drizzle, maybe a sprinkle, but not bad at all. And the conditions right now, very comfortable, mid-50s out there, no rain, but a wet track that is quickly drying.
Yes, it's going to quickly dry. And who has the best strategy? Who has the nerve to come to pit road first and put those slicks on? Because, I mean, it's a challenge getting those slick tires to hook up if it's wet anywhere on this track. But the advantage is how much speed you'll carry because of the grip level, because of the amount of tread you have on the road. Are you willing to go 3 wide on the banks here at Daytona? This is great racing.
Ankrum in the middle of Lassard and Tanner Gray, and they're coming, and just ran out of room.
Chase Purdy
ran over Chase Purdy.
Yeah, he was struggling there on the banks. That was interesting, the ground those guys made on him. Look at them filing into line to try to get through the bus stop.
By the way, 3 sets. Each team gets 3 sets of wet tires. Unless we get some more heavy rain, they're not going to use more than 1 set.
No, I think this is
They would get 5 sets of slicks.
Yeah, I think this is it on the rain tires. From the radar and what we see, the track will dry quickly. These trucks, as you can imagine, Vince, with their downforce and the heat of the tires, they'll dry this track quickly, and then it'll be a matter of deciding when you come in and get those slick tires. I'm looking forward to seeing who does it first, and I don't think it's going to be long from now.
Sheldon Creed has his sights set on John Hunter Nemechek. Creed's had his moments. He's chasing, but you got to stay on the course. Fortunately, there was nothing but pavement there. That was a big help. Coming back to Daytona. Yeah. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. There's Corey Roper in the 0-4. What a great race he had last week on the oval here at Daytona. Career best 3rd, but it's been an adventure getting off course here on the road course. Salvaged it though, didn't make any significant contact, and spin it around and get right back going.
That's right, he'll salvage on. This is a big mover right here.
Speaking of going, he's going somewhere, Brett Moffitt.
Brett Moffitt up inside the top 10, just made his way around Matt Crafton, runs up in the 8th position. There's several guys that started outside the top 20, Vince, that have made a big move forward. Moffitt leading that list along with Chase and Kaz Grala and Todd Gilliland, another big mover. You can see Crafton looking back to the inside. Yeah. Parker Chase right behind Crafton.
Riley Herbst.
And there's Riley. There's a lot of great moves early on, and that's interesting with this rain and the wet course. Who's able to take advantage of it? And we've seen a lot of guys move through the field. Another guy that's making some good progress is our buddy Stuart Friesen. Talked to Stuart before the race started. He said, I don't know about all this rain. I never really did it much. I said, doesn't it remind you of dirt? He said, not really. I don't see the comparison.
How about Parker Chase in that 51 truck making his series debut? Jamie, he's on the move.
Yeah, a new name for us in this series. Started 22nd. He's already up to 10th, driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports. He and Kyle were teammates in the Rolex 24 in 2020. They were in the GTD class. So here he is getting a shot. He may be in this truck for 1 or 2 more races, but he's a new face, but he's from IMSA, so he knows how to get around in a road course, car or truck. Ran the ARCA race here last year, Vince, and finished 10th in the rain. Yeah,
this experience here with the Rolex, so he's been on this course for a lot of laps over the last couple of years. Also expected to run for KBM at COTA, and he's done a great job so far. He is inside the top 10 in that 51 truck.
Vince, I've done a little bit of road racing in the rain, and your spotter, your crew chief, is going to start reminding you at this point in the race, find wet. They want to get offline, get in the wet so they can take care of those tires. And I used to tell my spotter, if you want somebody to miss the line, I'm your guy. If you need somebody to...
You miss the line with the best of them, don't you?
With the best of them. And that's what these drivers are going to be looking for right now while trying to maintain pace and obviously go as fast as they can. They're going to be looking for water to run those rain tires through. I don't think I can emphasize enough how fragile those tires are and how bad they will go away if you start running them on dry pavement. So it's really important to make sure you find the wettest part of the track you can.
Well, and you see the track's still plenty damp, and although there aren't many puddled areas, there's still plenty of moisture on the track. There's a good look at that 38 truck of Todd Gilliland up into the 12th position, and Gilliland started 32nd. He's up 20 spots.
Isn't that fun? That's what I love about racing in the rain. If you've got a knack for it, if you've got a good feel for your truck and what it's like in the rain, you can make other drivers look like they don't know what they're doing, and that's exactly what Gilliland is doing right now as he marches toward the front.
Crafton slipping back now into the 12th spot as Gilliland got past him.
Be interesting to see, Vince, and just take a snapshot of this leaderboard of the guys that have moved forward. What happens when the track dries? Is their setup going to be good enough for slicks? Are they able to continue that kind of momentum?
How about Ryan Truex? Started second, and he's now fourth, Regan.
Well, a strong run so far for Ryan Truex, much like last week. Vince, when I spoke to him earlier today, though, something very interesting. He was out walking this racetrack. That's something a lot of old school drivers do. You don't hear that much anymore. He said, I wanted to see all the dips, all the bumps. I wanted to understand this racetrack as good as I possibly could. Not only the infield section, but the bus stop chicane as well. I know it's wet. It was dry when he walked it, but paying off a little bit for him right now with a good run.
Now, he did not run this race last year in the Camping World Truck Series. He ran a number of races last year, did not run this one, but boy, he got off the great start this season with a 4th place run last week.
I love that. Nothing like momentum in NASCAR, Vince. You get going and it means big time in this sport. I'd like to see how wet it was when Ty pitted.
Camping World Truck Series from the Daytona Road Course here on FS1, presented by Blue Emu.
You know when you're going to need some Blue Emu, Vince? When you make rights and lefts and shifts and downshifts and braking. I mean, this is a workout for
Using
these
some extra
drivers.
muscles tonight, aren't you?
You're using them all, and you can see there's some extra equipment as well. Got a rear window light that we see flash in the back. We have windshield wipers, defoggers, and rain tires, and drones, and just crazy action. These guys are really challenged right now with handling this road course as the pavement begins to dry out.
Riding with Sheldon Creed, and that's the leader, John Hunter Nemechek, up ahead.
And you know, if I'm Nemechek, Vince, I'm just going to run fast enough to stay ahead of Creed. Look how dry the track is getting into turn one. I don't want to stretch out that lead. There's no reason for it. I got to take care of those tires.
Jamie Little on Sheldon Creed.
And he's running second right now, defending series champion and defending winner of this very race. His crew chief, Jeff Stankiewicz, about 1 lap ago said, hey, we're thinking about maybe short pitting here. We'll come in, do our service, and then get back out and get some stage points. But what are they thinking about tires when they come in? This was on the radio.
It is starting to dry out quite a bit, getting into 10 and 11 off of the big track of turn 4. You don't think it's getting dry enough to put slicks on this first stop, do you? No, not for just that session. I mean, going through the infield here, you can still see the wet coming off of the rear tires.
So you hear the good feedback there. Still too wet. They're going to stick with the wets. They have 3 sets. And we've got a truck slowed on this side. I believe that's Jason White, guys.
It is Jason White in the 33. And if you blow through the bus stop or the chicane, you do have to go do a stop and go as penalty. I'm not sure that that's the issue with Jason White as you see him heading down pit road. But just as a reminder, if you do see one of the trucks miss a turn through the bus stop or the chicane, the penalty is a stop and go, and they'll pull right over to the next open space and they'll make that stop and go penalty themselves.
I think it's interesting to see what these teams will do. If you're running up front, the short stage, just 4 more laps, I think you stay out and get your stage points. That's very important in chasing a championship. But if you're running 15th or so, maybe you come in and get those slicks and see if you can use some strategy to gain that track position.
We're told the 33 of Jason White serving a penalty for having too many men over the wall. And there's the 17 of Riley Herbst that has gone off track as well. Herbst running in the Xfinity Series race tomorrow. Of course, drives the 98 car for Stuart Haas. So getting some good practice in tonight here at the Camping World Truck Series.
Well, that wasn't good practice, Vince.
Well, he hopes to get all that out of his system, so tomorrow it is good. As you watch John Hunter Nemechek, and the 04 of Corey Roper has gone around again.
Isn't that racing? Corey Roper on the highest of highs when we saw him last here at Daytona, and now he finds himself stuck in the road. This could bring out a caution, and I think it will.
And it has, as Roper blocking the space there as John Hunter Nemechek, our race leader, has just come through, and you see we are under yellow. There's Nemechek. You know, John Hunter Nemechek at just 23 years old. We documented quite a bit last week. He started in the Truck Series, moved up to Xfinity, a year full season at the Cup level, back here to the Camping World Truck Series. I mean, this young man, for 23 years old, he's got a lot of experience.
He does, Vince.
Lighten them up using those brakes here at Daytona. Fox Sports presents Voices, Season of Change. A look back at the 2020 NASCAR season and the impact of positive social change. It's hosted by Kurt Menefee, Jeff Gordon, Larry Mack. Fox Sports Voices tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on Fox. Corey Roper had come to a stop in turn 3 and needed a shove to get it going, and that has brought out the caution. John Hunter Nemechek has been in command of this one ever since taking the lead, and John Hunter has now gone into the lead as far as the most laps led on a road course by any of the active drivers here in the Camping World Truck Series. Going to see a lot of John Hunter in the lead this season. Do you feel like that's maybe a theme throughout the course of things as the season progresses?
Yeah, you can see here, this is just experience and knowledge, and the spotters are all calling down to their drivers to do so as well. But you can see John Hunter is trying to get offline, keep any moisture he can in those tires. Even though the pace is reduced, they want to try to keep them as cool as they possibly can as we hop on board with Sheldon Creed. Nice job by Creed. Obviously, he knows how to get it done on the road course. Won here last year, but he's been able to keep pace with John Hunter. But I want to touch on John Hunter a bit, Vince. As we watch this 21 season unfold, anytime it's going to mean experience or maybe tire preservation, just anything that plays into the hands of a guy that's been there, done that, he's seen it all. He's been up front, he's led races, he's won races.
Won on the road course at Canada 2016.
Yeah, and you can see here he's not afraid to use the bumper. He pushes poor Cole Custer plumb off the track, and not only does it result in a thrilling finish when they're out in the dirt, it's a pretty good fight, Vince.
Yeah, we saw Custer with a good linebacker tackle.
I loved every bit of it.
Yeah. Understandable.
You know what I love most about it is you see them spinning tires and coming across for the checkered flag, and
the photographer scattering.
But we were in Canada that night, and this move right here was talked about as much as the pass on the track was, as you see Cole Custer just coming in with the haymaker. Love that. But we were hanging out, and people are like, "Did you see the NASCAR race, eh?"
Yeah, we saw it.
We were a part of it. You can see there, again, I talked about down off the banking, making sure they're trying to get any moisture they can in those tires. We're going to run just a couple of laps to the end of the stage. I expect all of our leaders to stay out to try to win the stage, to get those valuable points. But maybe it's close enough for guys that are outside of the top 10, 12. Maybe they come to pit road and get those slicks. I'm going to be interested to see.
Yeah, I was going to ask how far down the road you think it is before somebody gambles and puts the slicks on, because if they are just even a lap ahead of everybody else in their thinking, that can pay big dividends.
Well, they don't have to pit when the stage ends, and we know a bunch of the guys up front are going to do just that. So this is going to be a fun part of the race to see what kind of strategy these crew chiefs use.
Dash to the end of stage 1 when we come back. Camping World Truck Series racing on the road course at Daytona. Nearing the end of stage 1. We saw some come to pit road. In fact, a number of trucks came to pit road, and we think everybody put on the wets, but hearing maybe a team or two has tried the slicks, but man, that's going to be a dangerous call this early.
And some guys just took gas, Vince, and I think that's a call to say I'll get gas and run till I need the slicks and put those on during this next stage. There's the slicks. I want to see this. I want to take a chance, especially if I'm not one of the guys that is setting the pace of this race. And you can see there's the Goodyear Eagle slick tires going on the 38 truck. We got to put an ISO camera on this guy. Yep. ISO's inside talk for isolation camera, so we can follow him along.
Gilliland had a great charge through the field as well, but obviously he believes that he can control that truck as it makes its way back up through from deep in the pack after that pit stop.
One thing's for sure, Vince. In the infield, he can control it. He can just go easy and stay off lines. The thing that he has to be concerned about is the banking. How much gas to put down, how fast to go on this track that's pretty damp, as you can see all the water coming off of that truck. How hard does he push it up in the banking? Can he keep it pointed in the right direction? There's Haley Deegan. She was on and off of pit road in that one truck. Got tires. I don't know. I'm assuming those are wet.
I thought the white walls were the treaded tires, and it looked like Gilliland had the white walls on. Regan, clear that up for us on the 38.
You're right, exactly, Vince. They did put rain tires back on that 38 truck. And just one more update from my section of pit road. The majority of the trucks that I can get to, I have seen rain tires went on all of them. There was a couple drivers having a little bit of conversation about if they were burning up the rear tires. These rear tires on every truck that I've seen coming off look absolutely phenomenal. They look brand new, so a very good rain tire they brought here.
Well, we are hearing the 98 of Christian Eckes, who is making his ThorSport debut today in that 98 truck, did put on the slicks, but you see the white lettering on those Goodyear tires. Those are the rain slicks, or the rain tires. And I tell you what, with all that, and there's the 98 with the yellow, and that's a good way to tell the difference.
All right. Well,
so Eckes has the slicks on, and everybody else, it looks like, it's got the wets.
I just wanted somebody to put on the slicks because it'll be interesting. Like I talked about Ty Dillon back at the Roval, the move he made through the field on those slicks. Can he maintain control on the banking? Will Dylan Scott go for a crazy ride up on the banks, or does he keep it heading the right direction? Because I think that's going to be where he's going to have to take the most chances, pushing the gas down. Can he keep it pointed in the right direction?
Nearing the end of the first stage as they come through this chicane here on the front stretch, and we'll see that pace truck pull off. John Hunter Nemechek and Ben Rhodes on the front row for this restart and the race to the end of stage 1. And the green flag back out. Nemechek jumping out front. Taking it down into turn 1. Rhodes right there on the bumper, looks inside.
Whoa, sliding sideways goes Nemechek, and around goes Rhodes, taking the lead.
Ben Rhodes to the front. Through 2, and there's Chase Purdy in that 23 that has come around, and now Rhodes and Nemechek in turn 3.
Listen to him just work that throttle down, slipping those tires, just doing all he can to maintain control, and John Hunter with a big run up the inside.
Nemechek and Rhodes battling for the lead as they go through turn 4. Nemechek with the inside position. Final lap here in stage 1.
There's Chandler Smith taking a look at these two battling side by side. Can he make a move on them?
Off turn 5 and now heading to the left-hander. Turn 6.
Rhodes sideways, and here comes Brett Moffitt in that 45, heating up our lead trio.
Nemechek with a comfortable advantage on this final lap. On the backstretch, you see the 3 has gone off course. Bobby Roos. Headed to the bus stop. Rhodes trying to close the door, and Moffitt working on Chandler Smith.
Rhodes was able to gain ground in the bus stop on Nemechek. Can he do the same as we come to the chicane on the front straightaway? He's within striking distance. We saw that the other night in the Busch Clash, how crazy this corner here can get.
Avoid making the mistake, and Nemechek is going to hold on for stage one unless Rhodes gets one heck of a run. He doesn't do it. It's going to be the second stage win of the season for John Hunter Nemechek.
That right there is exactly why Kyle Busch put John Hunter behind the wheel of his number 4 truck, knowing his experience, his knowledge, any conditions, this kid will excel, and that's a great stage win here at Daytona.
Yeah, Rhodes got around him initially, and then Nemechek fought right back, took the lead again, and closed the door for the stage 1 win at Daytona.
I just said where I read it.
Hey, coming up Sunday on Fox, NASCAR continues. Chase Elliott looking to defend his win here at the 14-turn road course at Daytona. Coverage begins with race day, 1 o'clock Eastern on FS1. Then switch over to Fox at 2:30 Eastern for continuing pre-race coverage and the green flag, where you can catch it all on the Fox Sports app. The Cup Stars on the road course here at Daytona on Sunday. Well, the Camping World Truck Stars getting it done here through stage 1, and you see John Hunter Nemechek really dominated that first stage, led all the laps, won the stage, was challenged on multiple occasions. There was a couple of different times he wasn't actually leading on track, but ended up being recorded as the lap leader. Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith, Brett Moffitt, Ryan Truex, as you see the top 10 from stage 1.
But I'm telling you, Vince, the complexion of this race will change. I just heard on some of the spotter channels that it was starting to sprinkle out there, which certainly will throw another wrinkle into these teams' plans, especially Christian Eckes, who came in and took those slick tires. We wondered who would be the first to commit, and it was the 98 of Eckes. How that will work out. There you can see the rain falling.
Clean up. Oh, where did people deciding yay or nay on the pit stop? So let's begin with Regan.
Well, it was an easy decision for the 99 truck of Ben Rhodes to pit from second place. Right now, he's pretty happy with that truck, just struggling to hook up the rear tires, as many of the trucks in the field are right now. And the 88, Matt Crafton, of all the things he has done, this is the first time he has ever driven in the rain in a race. So something new for Matt to learn right now. His truck pretty good at the moment. He's picked up a lot of time as the run has gone. Jamie?
Chandler Smith in the 18. He has Danny Stockman on top of the box this year. Full time, it was fuel only. Danny telling him, save me some fuel here. We'll keep these tires on with the rain coming. They just didn't want to take a risk.
The race leader, John Hunter Nemechek, stayed out. So Nemechek will continue with the lead. Stage 2 just ahead from Daytona. Daytona on the road course, turning left and right in the rain. And it's been a challenging first stage for many, but not for John Hunter Nemechek, although there have been a couple of times Nemechek's had to play catch up. He has officially led every lap so far. And Nemechek, along with Ryan Truex, Riley Herbst, and Camden Murphy, are the four that, at least running up in the front, have elected not to pit. And they find themselves in an up front position. And the one truck that, as you see, Bobby Roos has gone off course, having all kind of trouble. The one truck that had gone from the wets to the slicks, the 98 of Christian Eckes, that didn't last long. During that pit stop, they put the wets back on. How about Matt Crafton, Regan?
Well, yeah, just something else to think about. These guys have to worry about, Vince, and I've run a rain race myself. I didn't have to worry about this with the lights, and with this being a nighttime race, when they get the mist on the windshield, the glare is getting very bad. Matt Crafton just reported to his team this glare is a little bit of trouble.
I'll just throw in another challenge.
As if we needed that, huh?
Hey, they're professionals. The more challenge, the better for us. Stage 2 is underway at Daytona, and it's Nemechek leading the field into turn 1.
You know, you mentioned those guys that stayed out. Remember, Sheldon Creed pitted on the pit stop before, on the caution before, so he's been able to gather that track position back up. He has on fresher tires. Be interesting to see how the tires are able to compete with John Hunter. I think fresher tires has to be faster, right, Vince?
And we've got a little more drizzle as well. So we were talking about when would they change from the wets to the slicks, and now with more precipitation, that just puts that off even longer. As you see the gaggle of trucks making their way through this 14-turn, 3.61-mile road course, as John Hunter Nemechek leads the field down through turn 5. Sheldon Creed right on his bumper. How about the series champ Sheldon Creed and that white number 2, no sponsorship on it, and they're sending a message, hey, we're the series champion. Come provide a little support. You want a company, come get on the champion's truck? We got some space for you.
Come along for the ride. We'll take you up to the front. As you can see, he's trying to pass for the lead as they make their way up onto the turn 1 here at Daytona International Speedway. Give the lead to Creed.
Sheldon Creed won a Trans Am race at Road America in the rain a few years back, 2018. And Jeff Stankiewicz telling me earlier today that he feels like he's got the secret weapon behind the wheel with Sheldon Creed. They really are high on what Creed can do in the dry or the wet conditions.
How much fun has it been for us to watch Sheldon Creed just get better and better lap after lap? And obviously it resulted in a championship last year, but not even losing one step this year as he's driven to the front here tonight. There's Ben Rhodes looking ahead at Johnny Sauter. Sauter in the 13.
Rhodes using the banking. Taking a look at his teammate for position as they come to the chicane on the front stretch.
How's those red lights flashing make you feel, Vince? Just another dynamic that you have to live with. Did Sauter miss the turn? Looks like Rhodes is going to grab that spot.
How relaxed it must be for Rhodes and that 99 team. New crew chief over there, Richard Lucius, and to have a win already in the bank, one race in. A little contact there as Timothy Peters in that 25 truck for Rackley War.
You just have to love the position that, as you see, diving down the inside, Rhodes goes.
Well, Ben Rhodes is making some moves. Gets by, saw him get by his teammate Sauter, and then now makes the move on Peters and going to close it up on Friesen before long, I believe.
And there's Peters looking on. Look at those brakes glowing. As you can see, a lot of front brake in the 99 as he continues his march toward the front.
Now, I heard you talking with Stuart Friesen earlier. Friesen, we know he makes, huge success as a dirt track driver, and you were comparing running on dirt to running on a slick track in the wets. Did he go along with that theory or not?
Not at all. I thought it was a nice comparison. He said, yeah, maybe in the mud, but not dirt. But he's done a nice job. Started deep in the field, been able to be competitive, currently in the 13th position. So a nice run so far for this 52 truck.
Stuart Friesen and his crew chief Trip Bruce in their second year with Toyota, and really looking for gains from that team this season. You saw Sheldon Creed had a little bit of handful going through the.
He did, and you know what I love about Sheldon Creed as you look at Rafael Assad, who's running along in the 3rd position. Gray goes around in the infield section of the track in that 15 truck. See the field coming by. He will slide all the way outside the top 25. That was Carson Hocevar that went by. Let's see what happens as he comes down into the bus stop. Oh, is it going to be contact? Yes, it was. Johnny Sauter. We've talked about Johnny sliding backwards, and Tanner Gray had position on him, but Sauter kept the throttle down, and around he went. Great shots of the guys entering that tough part of this racetrack. Sauter said, I'm going to need a little space, bro.
We talk about the bus stop, and it goes back to the world famous course at Spa in Belgium. And there was a time where that road course, it was run on public roads, and when it was open to the public in the non-racing season, there was literally a bus stop in that position of the racetrack, and therefore they, of course, aptly nicknamed it the bus stop, and that was carried over here to Daytona. You raced at Spa, didn't you?
Yeah, the fact that I grew up in Kentucky and ran a Ferrari at Spa, Belgium.
Man, that's a heck of a story.
I don't know
right
how
there.
that took
There are many
place,
people believe in that.
But that was a lot of fun, and being a part of the 24 Hours of Spa. We actually got a podium finish in that Ferrari. That was a lot of cool.
How about Sheldon Creed? You know, it's coming up through some of the traffic, and that can be challenging in itself. Watch this. The 3 of Bobby Roos, and there's the leader, Sheldon Creed.
And Roos gets a little bit, oh, wow, that had to surprise Creed. Macaroni and cheese all over the side of the 2.
It looked like it hit him in the door. Good thing not the wheel well.
Huh? Your moneymaker here, focus on it and hit it again.
Yeah, he had to be really surprised when this happened. Left plenty of room.
Well, that could have been disastrous for Sheldon Creed.
I'm glad we muted Creed's mic as he left that corner, because I'm sure he had some choice words to say for the mac and cheese driver.
Well, here it is.
Did we mute it?
Ready just in case, guys. The 3 just plowed us on the left side. Everything feel okay? Yeah, I mean, so far so good. I think you got me in front of the tire.
Isn't that just like Sheldon Creed? Just, yeah, you got me in front of the tire. Everything's fine.
I really like that combination of Sheldon Creed and crew chief Jeff Stankiewicz, Derek Nealon. Their spotter is phenomenal. Just a really nice combination. And then, of course, they've got the organizational support at GMS. I mean, all the pieces are in place to defend their championship.
Yeah, I talked to Nealon earlier today about tonight, and he said, we've got this. And that's so cool to hear their confidence.
Ben Rhodes moving through. Excuse me, coming through. For the second time, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is racing on the road course at Daytona. Rafael Assad and Zane Smith, they both got turned around on lap 1, turn 1 of this race. Now they're battling for second. Here it is, turn 1 of the very first lap of the race. They started 11th and 12th. They had a little bit of contact, and you see them both in unison going all the way around. Backwards, saying, whoops, that didn't go the way we had planned. And they gathered themselves, settled, and here they are right now running second and third in the, well, what do we got? 6 of 13 laps completed here in stage 2.
Away from a guy, Vince, and that's been the case for these two. But I've been really impressed watching the lap times of Zane Smith. He's consistently the fastest truck on the track. And these tires are wearing down. I believe you could see some strategy as we wind this stage down. Guys that are coming to pit road to get slick tires. Jamie, I'm just seeing this track dry out. Are you hearing anything about maybe short stopping in this stage?
Yeah, we're hearing different chatter. Definitely the slicks going up on the wall, but John Hunter Nemechek, who led 14 laps, the only driver in the top 7 who has yet to pit. They're getting ready right now, Michael, to come here in about 2 laps.
I like it. I like it a lot. We got to mix it up. You know, you set yourself up, you got to have that track position. And if you can figure out a way, Vince, to gather that and get an advantage on the competition, we don't see any more mist or water coming up off these trucks. I think it's time to pit.
Kaz Grala in the 0-2 for Young's Motorsports. Chris Wright drove that truck last week, but Wright's going to make his Xfinity Series debut here tomorrow. Wanted to focus on it, and Kaz Grala taking advantage of the opportunity. And right behind Grala is Austin Wayne Self, who's having a nice run. 6th place, Mike.
Nice run for Austin Wayne Smith. Don't mess with Texas. Let's pray for Texas. They've had some terrible weather down there. Good to be able to say hello to the folks in Texas and tell them we're thinking about them, as Austin Wayne Self's having a great run.
And our friend Marcus Lemonis, the CEO of Camping World, has sent, I think I saw 500 generators down to the stores down there. So certainly thanks to Marcus and all those that are lending a hand at that terrible situation down in Texas. Regan.
Well, you guys just mentioned Austin Wayne Self and the strong run that team's having. He's very, very pleased with that truck right now. Just a little bit loose with the back. The back of it's sliding around more than what he would like to. But when I talked to the team, they said the biggest question mark we've got, what tires to put on? Everybody up pit road is thinking about that right now.
Well, Regan, from up here in the broadcast booth, it looks a lot like slicks to me. We see the white lettering on everyone's tires. That means they've got the rain tires on. But I think there's a lot of slicks coming your way as these teams pit. Whether they wait till the end of the stage or try to short stop to get track position, that'll be the big story. That was Jennifer Jo Cobb in the 10 you saw leaving the chicane here on the front straightaway.
Watching Brett Moffitt, and then the 51 truck. Been an interesting story tonight. Parker Chase, and there's the 40 hitting pit road. That's Ryan Truex. Going to be gas only. They're going to keep the wets on.
Interesting. They jack up the left side just to get the gas in faster. Obviously, the higher it is and the gas tank being up higher, they can get more in. Kind of surprised about not taking tires, but we'll see how this works out. A lot of strategy, different strategies on this racetrack right now.
John Hunter Nemechek has led most of this race tonight. Currently runs 3rd. He's led 14 of the 20 laps. There's a good look at Nemechek.
You know what I love, Vince? Everybody's talked a lot about the experience, the knowledge and the talent of John Hunter Nemechek. Sheldon Creed, Rafael Assad said, not so much, kid. And we appreciate you being here in the Truck Series, but we've got a lot of talent as well. As you see, Nemechek working back to the bottom of Assad, trying to take the 2nd position away.
And Nemechek has not pitted, and he's the only one in the top 10 who has yet to pit tonight. And Nemechek back to that 2nd spot. And I tell you what, this has been an interesting story right here. Parker Chase had a speeding penalty on lap 10. Remember, this is his Truck Series debut, and he is back up into the 10th spot. He's done a real nice job for Kyle Busch in his series debut tonight. And yeah, he competes in IMSA full time, so he's used to the lefts and the rights, but getting in the truck, no practice, first time tonight, he has really done a nice job.
I just got to think he had a huge smile on his face, Vince, with the rain coming down, knowing his road course experience, getting in a truck, that had to feel really good for him.
5 to go in stage 2. Going to take a break. You won't miss a thing. Stay with us. Well, you've been watching it. The leader, Sheldon Creed, on pit road. Jamie Little.
And it's interesting, teams going back and forth what tires to put on. Sheldon Creed in the 2, they took the slicks. They're going to take the rain tires off, put 4 slicks on, and you see on the right-hand side, the man who has dominated this race, John Hunter Nemechek, has lost oil pressure.
Well, what a tough break for Nemechek and that KBM crew. As you see, Creed put on the slicks, and that puts Rafael Assad in the lead, and Assad has been super impressive. We showed you earlier, lap 1, turn 1, spun around and has charged right back through the field.
I think all the spotters have sent words to the crew chiefs, Vince, that this Ford truck isn't going to make it back. Look at pit road. Everybody's short stopping, getting on pit road, off pit road before the caution flies so they can have track position when this stage ends. A little bit of trouble there on pit road for the 17 of Gray. He had to back up.
Riley Herbst in the 17, and you see everybody's taking advantage of the opportunities, and John Hunter Nemechek just didn't make it at the entrance to the bus stop there on the backstretch.
His windshield wiper's still working, but his engine isn't.
Try to cycle a power or something, I don't know. Yeah, I've tried all of it.
Frustrating for John Hunter. Eric Phillips, the crew chief, and the caution has come out because John Hunter has come to a stop there on the backstretch, as we mentioned, the entrance to the bus stop. And John Hunter won stage 1, led 14 laps, but not anymore. Rafael Assad in front at Daytona. Welcome back. Camping World Truck Series, the road course at Daytona here on FS1, presented by Blue Emu. Currently under caution. He gives us an opportunity, a lot of heavy hearts in this area, as former track president here at Daytona, Robin Bragg, passed away earlier this week and was such a contributor to our sport, and especially here at Daytona.
Nobody loved this place or this sport more than Robin did, and fortunate to call him a friend, and really sad to hear of his passing.
John Hunter Nemechek limping to pit road. Heard the report earlier, didn't have any oil pressure and had lost power. It's unfortunate. Certainly he has had a truck worthy of contending. He dominated the early stages of the race, led the first 14 laps, won stage 1. We've seen some trucks that have gone to the slicks. Rafael Assad still has the wets on, and you can tell the white trim to the white lettered Goodyear tires are the wet tires, the wets, and the slicks have a yellow lettering. Easy to spot.
There's Kaz in the 02 running in the second spot. All these trucks that are in the top 5 Vince pitted on lap 10, varying strategies. Some of them took tires, some of them just got some fuel. I expect if you're running up front, those stage playoff points and stage points are so valuable, you're going to stay out here and finish this stage off. But a lot of varying strategies throughout the field.
Many during that round of pit stops did put the slicks on, and everybody's going to go to the slicks at this point the rest of the way unless we get some more weather.
And the radar looks very promising that we won't see anymore. So I like what we're seeing. We've seen basically half the race on wets, and we're going to see another half on dries. Do the dominant trucks on the wets remain that way on the dries? Todd Gilliland's had a really fast truck, drove up from the back all the way inside the top 5. There you see Matt Crafton. Talked to him earlier today. Matt said, you know, I don't know much about racing in the rain, but I'll race anywhere. He started racing dirt and became very successful at it. And Haley Deegan inside the top 10. She's driven her way up to. She also pitted on lap 10. She's driven her way up inside the top 10, running 7th. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of her tonight. A rough start to the season. And look, there's the 4 of John Hunter. They got it fired back up. Unfortunately, he's a lap off the pace. We heard him talking about, let's recycle the power, turn it off and on. He said, I've done all those things. Well, they figured out what was wrong with it when they got to pit road and fixed it, but is it too little, too late?
Eric Phillips is pretty smart. Not much gets past him, and he has figured out a way to do what they needed to do with the engineering staff there at Kyle Busch Motorsports.
When your phone don't work, somebody says, did you turn it off and turn it on? That's the same thing they asked John Hunter about. Yes, I did all that, thank you. It didn't work.
You know, some of the new elements to our 2021 season, and of course the 10 driver playoffs, just as we had a year ago, starting this year August 20th at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The Triple Truck Challenge, looking forward to that as always. Darlington, Coda, and Charlotte, and of course some new stops on the circuit this year. Going to run the dirt at Bristol.
We're going to go to Coda, Vince. Yep. I'm so excited about seeing the Circuit of Americas and Nashville Super Speedway, and being in Knoxville. This is a great season for the trucks, and we're kicking it off right here with a doubleheader in Daytona. It doesn't get any better than that.
You know, I got to say, those new spots on the schedule, and you mentioned Knoxville, and certainly you dirt fans out there know what a special place it is, but also the one we didn't mention there, the last one on the list, one of my favorite all-time facilities and courses, Watkins Glen, and the trucks going back there for the first time since 2000. A lot to be excited about, and if you're a racing fan or a college basketball fan, tomorrow Fox College Hoops, blockbuster, 10th ranked Villanova battling UConn, followed by number 5 Illinois taking on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. All tips off tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. So cool to have UConn back in the Big East, and Jay Wright's got Nova playing great hoops again this year.
No dirt, Vince. Just a little grass over there in the bus stop. NASCAR worked on that.
Second career stage win. His first was last week That's Rafael Assad in the 24. Rafael Assad, victorious in stage 2. And they're about to give him the green and white checkers. How about this youngster, Mike? Canadian, ran last year for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and I think a lot of folks expected more of him early in the season, just 19 years old. But when he came to Truax a second time, he was so much better, and really understandable as you see him making it official, going under the caution flag along with the green and white checkers. Made the move, of course, won last year at Talladega, his first career win, and made the move over to GMS, and he has been impressive tonight.
What about the start of this race?
Yeah.
Backwards in turn 1, and now at the end of stage 2, he gets that coveted playoff point in the green and white checkered flag. That's a great recovery and just a lot of speed. And Vince, it didn't matter where we went at the end of the season, like you mentioned, he had that type of pace. We've talked leading up to this 2021 season, who's our favorite to win the championship? A lot of talk about John Hunter Nemechek, obviously Sheldon Creed, Brett Moffitt, but Rafael Assad saying, you better talk about me, because I showed at the end of last year I've got the kind of speed to go out and win races.
Here's a good look inside the workspace of Sheldon Creed, last year's series champion and the winner right here at the road course at Daytona. Won 5 times last season, got his first career win, and just kept on rolling, just added to it and won the championship. Hailie Deegan running 7th. Check in with Regan.
Well, Vince, a really nice run for Hailie Deegan so far early on in her career. And I asked her earlier today, I said, hey, you know what? Rain racing, kind of like being on the dirt just a little bit. You got some dirt experience. This should go well today. She said, no, Regan, actually, it's not anything alike. She said, would you compare walking through mud to ice skating? And I said, no, I wouldn't. She said, okay, then don't compare driving on dirt to driving in the rain. So I got shot down completely.
Hey, Regan, I experienced the same thing with Stuart Friesen. I said, it's got to be alike. And no, Mike, it's not alike at all. But we're trying, right, buddy? We're digging for information, and that's always fun.
She competed here last year in ARCA and also ran an IMSA race here last year, just carrying on the tradition of the females in the racing world. You see what she did last year.
What exciting victories those were for her as well. Gracie Trotter with some success too. Shauna Robertson actually drove for us at Michael Waltrip Racing for a while. Very talented.
You know, throughout the ranks, I think young women are getting an opportunity to show their abilities, and young girls are, they've got somebody to look up to, and they see that it's possible. And when someone like Hailie Deegan is out here showing that it can be done, it inspires so many young ladies around the country and around the world to do it. I talked with Mike Hillman, her crew chief, earlier today, and he said laps, laps. We just got to keep running laps, and the more we run, the more she learns and the better she's going to get.
Vince, I stayed up till 1 in the morning, 2, I don't remember how late it was in Vegas the year before last when she won that race at the bull ring or on the dirt track, and just so impressive the way Hailie was able to be aggressive and win that race. And she's proven time and time again that she has all the ability in the world that it takes to go out and be competitive. And whether it's on dirt or the super speedways or even here on the road course at Daytona, she's up in the top 10. A little bit of strategy though. The first truck that pitted past lap 20 is the 2 truck of Creed. He's back in 8th, and he pitted on lap 22. I believe that's within the fuel window of him making it to the end. The fuel window is 20 to 22 laps, and with caution flags, that actually goes up about 2 laps. For caution is 1 under green, and our green estimation is 20 to 22. So I think he's okay. This 2 truck could be sitting in a good spot to grab track position. You hear him saving that fuel. That's why he's able to get more miles to the gallon underneath the caution. This track, as you can see, is dried up nicely. Gonna see a lot of the front runners come to pit road.
Ben Rhodes, last week's winner on the oval, and has had a solid night tonight. Currently runs 12th, and he pitted back with Creed on lap 22 as well. Creed, when he won the race last year, as they will be heading to pit road here, Creed won the race last year, pitted at the end of stage 2, did not pit at all in the final stage. They are running a different tire here. The slicks are a little different than what they ran last year, and there's been some concern as to what that wear might be like this year. Austin Wayne Self is in. Regan?
Well, a little debate over which tires to put on there. They go with the slick tires. Same thing for Zane Smith. They're going to put the slick tires on. As you see the changer fall right there. They had a big debate over that, though. He really wasn't sure which ones he wanted. He was told everybody's going with slicks. Jamie?
Rafael Assad finished 3rd here a year ago. Now he just took home stage number 2. They're going to put 4 tires. Slicks for the 24, the 02. Kaz Gralla said he needs a little bit of help under braking. He's a little too loose, making mistakes. Ran 7th here in the Cup race last year. It's good to see him in a truck. He has to back it up, though. Not enough for him to get out of his pit box, and Kaz Gralla is finally out.
Well, positions lost on pit road. And you see Ben Rhodes didn't take any tires, gained 10 spots. Parker Chase the same. Rafael Assad, the hero so far. Back at Daytona, the Camping World Truck Series. And there's a good look at Matt Crafton. He did not pit during that last sequence. Still got the wets on. You see the white lettering on his tires. The slicks have a yellow lettering. Ryan Truex in that 40 truck right behind Crafton, also with the wets still on his truck.
Was that Creed jamming out, Vince?
It was Foo Fighters, I believe.
Right on. Creed's.
Speaking of Creed,
he's going to lead this race when they get to turn 1.
Because he has on the slicks, Crafton has on the wets, and you think the slicks are the way to go at this point.
I do. I know they are.
Final stage underway, and Sheldon Creed and Matt Crafton down into turn 1. Creed gets the spot. Cleanly through turn 1 and 2.
I think they made it, and watch Creed go. That's how important those slick tires are.
Creed now through turn 3. Crafton still running second, and it is a log jam behind them.
Look at that mess behind them, Vince. That's such fun looking at all those trucks side by side, fighting for position.
Making their way through turn 4. Good look at that 98 of Christian Eckes.
He's been all over the place on strategy. Came in, got slicks, came back in, got rain tires, and now finds himself on slicks, racing toe-to-toe with these guys. See how much of a truck he has.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes trying to move up through. Made the pass on Eckes. That's Gilliland right there in the 38 behind the 98 of Eckes. And Gilliland's had a solid run tonight. Started deep in the field up to 12th.
There's the 17 of Riley Herbst. Nice move around Matt Crafton. Taking advantage of those tires. That's a 6 of Norm Benning off the pace. He moves politely out of the way. Whoa, did you see Crafton get up on those turtles? Michelangelo over there.
They move through the bus stop on the backstretch. And the race leader, Sheldon Creed, coming off what we call turn 4 of the oval and headed towards the chicane and maneuvering through it.
You can see Crafton losing spot after spot on those treaded tires.
How long does he stay out, Mike?
Well, I just like, this is strategy, Vince. They might just be saying, all right, we're going to stay out and save our new tires, put our fresh tires, put our slicks on a little bit later, hopefully have more pace, more speed later in the run. This is just their play. He can probably go, Crafton can, another 6-8 laps before he has to pit. It just depends on what Junior Joyner, his crew chief, how long they decide to watch this truck fall back through the field.
A couple of Nice teammates there. The 42 of Hocevar passing Truex. Hocevar having another solid run tonight. He is in 6th and finished 5th last week here on the oval. Oh, and Ben Rhodes.
That got a little bit out of hand. That's a 75 of Sam Mayer there in this battle, but Ben Rhodes sideways in the 99 tried to get on the inside of Johnny Sauter, and I think decided maybe to bail out at the last minute. Look at those brakes light up. That's so fun. There's Parker Chase in the 51. Here's the replay. See the 99 of Rhodes? He sees an opportunity. Johnny Sauter shuts the door, and Ben says, I don't want to wreck my teammate. Those teammates have had some issues here recently.
Is this where he goes, oops,
yeah.
Bottom of 3, bottom of 3, bottom of 2.
Bottom of 3 is nothing that usually works out great when one of the 3 is your teammate. There you can see Herbst trying to close in on our leader, Sheldon Creed. And then what about Stuart Friesen up to 3rd spot? Great run for Stuart. Talked about the rain and the dirt not being alike. Well, Stewart's finding this road course in the damp to be to his liking.
Johnny Sauter in that 15 or in that 13 truck up to 5th, and there's a good look at Friesen. You see him started 30th running 3rd.
That's got to be a good feel for this team. Remember, Vince, last year, the start of the season, they started with a new manufacturer, a new team, and they struggled for half of the year. Then they got their momentum at the end and was able to run off some top 10, top 5 finishes. Now he's starting off the season with this kind of pace. That's got to feel good for him.
Our Camping World 15 to go. 15 laps remaining here at Daytona on the road course. John Hunter Nemechek won stage 1 and a dominant truck early, and then had a mechanical issue. They got it rectified, and he's back in the mix as you see Crafton continuing to go backwards on those older tires, the wets.
There's the 45 of Brett Moffitt. We saw him contend for the win here a year ago, and he's back outside the top 10 tonight. Be interesting to see if he can rebound. And how long does Matt Crafton run around on those wet tires? I think he's got to pit in a lap or two, Vince.
He is losing. He's
more.
all the way back to 17th. I can't believe that you're going to just put those slicks on and drive right back through the field against this competition.
I think you've got a good point. This is a lot more track position. I think they thought they would lose, as you see the 15 of Gray heating him up, and then right behind him, Derek Kraus, who had a challenging Daytona last week with a couple of 3 spins. He's kept it clean and pointing in the right direction. You can see him there in that Napa truck right behind Gray in the 15, having a solid run tonight.
Going to go side by side through this commercial break. Hang right with us. You won't miss a thing. Going to keep on trucking on the road course at Daytona.
And welcome back to the Daytona road course. Little update on our leader, Sheldon Creed. When we went back racing, they told him he'd be about a half lap short. Now they're telling him with a 4.5 second lead to back it down. Back down your entries. You need to save us some fuel, especially thinking if we go in overtime. We have a caution. This will definitely help our leaders, Vince.
Boy, right on time for Sheldon Creed, huh?
Yeah, he needed this caution, and there you see
Riley Herbst, who's running second in the same situation.
Herbst. Is that the 10 truck?
So that collision between the 40 of Truex.
Oh no.
And we understand that maybe Carson Hocevar, his teammate, the teammate to Truex, involved in that.
And also Timothy Peters in the 25
so
truck.
Truex
That's the best.
limping in.
I'll tell you this, Vince, from my experience leaving that pit road, There's Carson Hocevar hard into the wall.
Wow, there's a lot of contact there.
See, someone got into the back of him, so I don't know if he slowed to avoid contact and got clobbered, but his back is all caved in. I'm going to tell you that's a difficult exit. Even in the dry, you know, you leave pit road, it's a hard road around there, very tight, very narrow, as you can see, and something went wildly wrong.
So I think it looked like maybe, we're understanding maybe the 42 of Hocevar got into the wall, and then the 40 of Truax hit him as they've exited pit road. And boy, Crafton is going to have an opportunity to have a little more flexibility in his strategy. Going to come. I got to believe he's going to come at this point.
100% coming, but what do the leaders do? If they all stay out, it's just going to be all for naught. He's going to still be buried back in the middle of the field.
And as Jamie Little just reported, Sheldon Creed was a little shy on fuel, but this caution certainly going to be a game saver for him.
Yeah, if you're a half a lap short, cautions are 2 for 1. You run 2 caution laps and you get 4 green flag laps, so he's all set now to get to the checker. You can see the Rockley Roofing number 25 has got some serious issues.
Tough luck for Timothy Peters. Visited with Timmy for a while earlier today, and he's really excited about this opportunity. Watch the top left of your screen. You can see all the way up there at the top, you can see the debris for the incident, and then just
you saw
got out of the screen there. But
Hocevar into the wall, Vince, and then here comes Truex, and he couldn't get stopped. I talked about how tricky that exit to pit road is. There isn't much margin for error, and we saw a crazy crash there.
All that sand in the barrels, but heavy damage for Truex, and that's too bad. They were excited about their opportunity here this weekend, and tell you what, I really like, and I know Cody Efaw, the general manager for Nice Motorsports, extremely pleased with his lineup of drivers this season, and having Truex in the truck along with Hocevar and of course Brett Moffitt there as well.
What a lineup. You're right, Vince. And Hocevar is able to see his window nets down. He's able to drive away. He's going to need some Blue Emu. I bet he's hurt a wrist or something.
Our Blue Emu race summary, and you see Sheldon Creed, the current leader, and Creed has led 12 laps. John Hunter Nemechek has led the most at 14. Nemechek won the first stage. Lassard won stage 2.
And Nemechek, I think, will be our free pass driver. He was a lap down running the first truck up there, so he could get back into this thing, Vince. He was really fast early.
Going to be interesting down the stretch on the road course at Daytona. I want to remind you that millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. And that's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play through donations of brand new gear, including speed-themed fitness equipment for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Volusia and Flagler counties here in Florida to help them provide programming for the more than 300 members they serve. Text PLAY to the number on your screen to help keep kids in the game.
I'm going to take that card, Vince, and text PLAY to that number. That's an awesome Fox Sports Supports initiative.
Well, it's been an eventful night for the 4 of John Hunter Nemechek. Jamie, what are their chances here the rest of the way?
Well, Vince, we sure talked about him a lot early on. He led 14 laps. Then he had an issue all of a sudden, lost oil pressure and fuel pressure, and I can confirm now they had run out of fuel, so they brought it back down. They went down a lap. They just got the lucky dog, as you just said, and now they're going to bring it down, get just enough fuel to make it to the end, and they'll put 4 new tires on. So, yes, eventful to say the least.
You know, Vince, you talked about how smart that team was. They put that gas in there, and that thing fired right off. You're right. You
Amazing.
You covered that. They've got themselves back on the lead lap, as Jamie reported, and I'm telling you, a fast truck, he's going to be fun to watch charge back through the field.
Here's Ryan Truex, and whoa, debris. Didn't get the tape on there quite good enough.
What a finely tuned piece of machinery that was about 3 hours ago. Now look at it, it's a mess.
I don't know which is a worse sign, having your hood over the driver's side window or the big tractor out there carrying sand barrels.
I think it's all a part of road racing. You see so much action and activity going on around the racetrack, and these guys were getting ready to come back to go racing, and we'll have to hold that off for a lap.
Let's set it up here. Sheldon Creed, Riley Herbst, Stuart Friesen, Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith, your top 5. Creed, last year's winner. Riley Herbst running full-time in the Xfinity Series, kind of getting ready for tomorrow in the race. Friesen, kind of a dirt guy. You wouldn't expect to maybe have him, do so well on the road course, although he ran 10th, but maybe Friesen on the dirt at Bristol would be a favorite.
I talked earlier about Kaz Gralla licking his chops for the rain racing we have now. You don't think Stuart Friesen's looking forward to this? He cannot wait to get in the truck. How beautiful is that iRacing at Bristol? I'm looking so much forward to seeing these trucks mix it up on the dirt.
iRacing has changed the game, has it not? I mean, literally, it's given everybody an opportunity to practice their skill set on all these different race courses around the country that various series run, including the stars of NASCAR, and it's provided some fun competition along the way. Kudos to Steve Myers and his group at iRacing.
I'll tell you this about iRacing. I learned by racing over at Denny Hamlin's house, he's about 2/10 quicker than me no matter where we go. And that 2/10 is a difference in a couple of commas and a few decimal points in our bank accounts, I'm sure.
Interesting development for Sheldon Creed, who was our leader, and that's not the case any longer. Wasn't keeping pace with the pace vehicle and is going to lose some spots.
What happened right there, bud? Couldn't refire, it just popped and I had to reset it. All right, bud, well, we lost our spot. We're going to be between the 18 and the 13.
And the reason why he was shutting it off, Vince, was to save fuel. You know, just in case of overtime, even though we talked about how close he was, you can see here, you got to keep up with the pace truck. The most famous incident of this happening, I think, was Marcus Ambrose.
Infamous.
Yeah, infamous, thank you. I was a part of that. Marcus Ambrose leading at Sonoma, shut it off trying to coast uphill. That didn't work. And you saw there, you heard Creed's explanation. His job is to shut it off and turn it on. That's what he's supposed to do. And when he shut it off that time and went to fire it back up, it popped and stumbled and wouldn't refire, and he lost that track position. So he's going to restart back in the 5th position. And I think this is an interesting turn of events because he's been the dominant truck. But man, Riley Herbst in that 17's got better and better. The same with Friesen. We see Ben Rhodes up front now. Can he fight his way through this field? And does John Hunter Nemechek take advantage of getting the free pass back on the lead lap and get up toward the front? This is going to be a very entertaining 11 laps.
So those are some valuable positions lost.
Speaking of lost, I don't know what we've done with Matt Crafton. He's coming to pit road now. It's been a very challenging second half of this race for him, Regan.
It has been challenging, Michael, and they're going to finally put those slick tires on. We see that they stayed longer on the rain tires than anybody else. Didn't quite work out for them. They were hoping this would not be an extended caution, though. They knew they would need as many laps as possible on the slicks to try and get back up through the field, so nobody more frustrated than Junior Joyner on the box because of that.
Yeah, that's those long cautions on these road courses, and in a situation like Crafton's going to be, as he nearly gets in the back of Truex there, leaving the pit, is going to be very costly for him, as you see Haley Deegan leaving pit road as well.
10 laps left and 14 turns a lap. There's a lot of action left. We're going to have it for you when we come back. Xfinity fastest lap of the race. Ben Rhodes and Sheldon Creed side by side with their times. Riley Herbst, Christian Eckes, John Hunter. Xfinity fastest lap. Downstairs to Jamie on our leader, Riley Herbst.
Yeah, how about Riley Herbst, his 9th career Truck Series race? Talked to him earlier today, Vince, and he said, I just found out earlier this week that I was going to be in the truck for this race for David Gilliland. He drove for David Gilliland 4 years ago in what is now the ARCA West. He said he's blown away by the way that they operate this business, how big it is. And he told me he's just in the truck to get experience for tomorrow night's Xfinity Series race. And at this rate, he may take home the win tonight.
This is awesome performance, but I'm asking you, Vince, who do you think's in the catbird seat? And how many seats are there in the catbird house? Because I'm looking at Friesen. I think he's got a great chance, but Chandler Smith, every lap that goes by, he seems to get better and better. He's right there in the top 5. Can he be the factor can he be the guy that wins this race?
Well, I think Creed was certainly the one I thought was the guy to beat before he lost all those spots. Instead of leading, he's now going to restart 6th. I'm really curious to see what he can do over these final laps.
I think he's going to charge, buddy.
He better. The green is out, and it's Friesen and Herbst charging down into turn 1.
Oh, and look at
Chandler Smith around the outside.
Can you believe he made that? Can you believe he almost made that turn?
And it's Herbst to the lead, but he's going to get challenged from Ben Rhodes. And there is Creed right there in 3rd.
I told you he was going to be charging. What a great restart. Oh, you see the 17 of Herbst. He slides the tires, bumps off of the 99.
Opens the door for Friesen. Right back in the mix.
2 by 2 for the top 4 spots.
It's Rhodes, Herbst, and now Sheldon Creed making the move on Riley Herbst for 2nd.
Check out this drone shot. That is so cool. Watch those trucks go flying by.
Headed to turn 6. Rhodes still in the lead. Creed and then Herbst with Friesen and Chandler Smith rounding out the top 5. Christian Eckes right there in the 98 in his ThorSport debut.
What about Eckes? We talked about his strategy going the wrong way early, but he's battled himself back into contention. Great run in his inaugural ride in that 98 truck. 13 years Curb Records has been with ThorSports, and I've just enjoyed seeing all the different country music stars on those trucks, including my buddy Tim Duggar getting a ride here and there, Lee Bryce, Dylan Scott's on tonight. Really cool what Curb Records does in NASCAR.
Rhodes leading, and you're looking back to the 2nd place truck of Creed, and there's Austin Wayne Self, who has gone off track. Was having a good run, and in fact, for quite a while, Austin Wayne Self was inside the top 10. Back to Creed, chasing down Ben Rhodes. More contact and some significant damage. Boy, the 21 of Zane Smith nearly collected a handful.
You see Brett Moffitt off the road too. That's going to...
Big hit for Zane Smith, and Moffitt's got significant left front damage as well. And the caution is out. Boy, that was nearly disastrous as Smith came back on track.
How did Smith get in such a bind? That must have happened entering the front stretch chicane. I know our Fox Sports cameras got it covered. Let's see what happens. He's down low on the track.
Yeah, wow. Was that Moffitt? Moffitt got into Zane Smith and sent Smith right to the wall.
And look at everything that happens after that. Smith's going to come back across traffic. Really some great evasive driving as he went back across the track. You see the heavy contact there off turn 4.
Parker Chase in the 51 truck took some pretty significant damage as well, as he just couldn't get it woed up.
Went for a slide, but kept from hitting anything very hard. There you see, right there, Gilliland just barely slips to the outside of that disabled truck of Zane Smith. That's such a shame.
Coming right at you. And Zane Smith up there along the wall, and that is a tough way for his night to come to an end. Two-time winner last season, and certainly a driver that many anticipate before it's all said and done will be in the championship mix. Bono Mannion is crew chief out of the GMS stable.
They were all racing, Vince, right along inside the top 10. So still thinking about winning this race in Daytona. Instead, Smith will go home on the hook.
You know, it's interesting. 4 of the 5 different leaders we've had tonight have had issues. John Hunter Nemechek had the fuel pressure or oil pressure issue, and fuel ran out of gas. The 2 couldn't get refired. Creed, Lassard spun on lap 1. Riley Herbst went off course.
And speaking of John Hunter, you talked about his issues. He got that free pass, and this caution flag, Vince, is a big break for that team. He restarted in the 28th position, has already drove up to 16th. We know how fast he is. He's got a chance to get back in this thing. A couple of cautions or the havoc that we usually see as laps wind down in the Truck Series. Don't be surprised if you see John Hunter battling for the win before this is all over.
Well, it's been an eventful evening, just as we anticipated it would. Remember, we started on the wets in the rain after heavy rain, and first turn, you saw Zane Smith and Rafael Assad get together and go around. Corey Roper's been around a couple of different times, as has Chase Purdy. Bobby Roos with a big hit.
We've seen a couple of problems for him. There's the 17 of Herbst off the road and now in the top 5. One spin don't do you in, does it, buddy?
No. Tanner Gray around, and boy, this was a close call for Sheldon Creed while leading. Bobby Roos got into his left door. And there's the issue we mentioned with John Hunter Nemechek. Remember, needed assistance to pit road when he stalled on the backstretch. Carson Hocevar and Ryan Truex had their collision.
Lost a trash can, and then the latest crash, as you see these trucks exiting turn 4, Brett Moffitt decided to dive low and didn't anticipate the 21 truck of being that slow, and they made contact.
Moffitt got it taped up. Zane Smith not so fortunate. Rhodes and Creed will lead us to the green when we come back.
You have some fun down there. We'll see you check the flag, all right?
Across the line, it's been Rhodes, the winner. Wow, man, That's crazy what happens on the last lap.
You have a man, Rhodes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah!
You just don't know when you're going to get it again, but I'm going to enjoy this night. Best night of my life right here.
Can Ben Rhodes do it again? Can he back up last week's win on the oval at Daytona with a win on the road course here at Daytona? Only Johnny Sauter in 2013 and Mark Martin in 2006 have won the first 2 races of the season in the Truck Series.
Rhodes is going to have his hands full, Vince. They're going to be all over him. I wonder what they're saying on the radio in that 99 camp.
Don't get caught up racing him. Let him make the mistakes.
Yeah, I'll run our race here. We got to get us a good finish, and we know how he races, so I'll just try to be smart.
Well, we know how Ben races too.
I was going to say, they're both pretty aggressive.
That's that pot kettle thing. I mean, we're going to see all sleeves rolled up and gloves off. These two only know one speed. That's why I kind of, as we got to about halfway point of the race last weekend, became a big Ben Rhodes fan because of his aggression. You know you got to be aggressive to win on the big tracks, and the same is the case on the road course. Push and shove, get everything you can.
Well, does that mean that maybe a Riley Herbst or Stuart Friesen is sitting in the right spot if Rhodes and Creed end up getting together and opening the door for somebody else to come through it?
Do you remember what happened in the Busch Clash? Like, it was the last turn, last lap. 2 buddies got together, spinning out of the way for Kyle Busch to come get the win. So anything is possible, Vince.
Pace truck is off, and when they take the green, there will be 6 laps to go. Ben Rhodes on the inside, Sheldon Creed on the outside. Rhodes with a great jump headed to turn 1. Riley Herbst inside of Creed.
That's a nice feeling when you clear the field into 1. Don't have to overshoot the corner or take a chance of that, and that's what Rhodes did. But look who recovers quickly.
Well, Creed got nudged out of there. Great job by Herbst to get second from Sheldon Creed. Now Creed trying to come back on the inside and is going to get that spot, but he's going to have to fight for it.
Doesn't it just feel like Creed's got more, can get in the corners deeper, run down harder into the corners? Maybe his brake package is working better because he's really aggressive on entry. But you can see there, while he was battling with Herbst, the 99 of Ben Rhodes has driven away a bit.
Now through turn 5, headed up to turn 6 in the left-hander. Rhodes leads, Creed in second, Riley Herbst third. Stuart Friesen and Kaz Grala all right there in the mix. The 18 of Chandler Smith is there, and around is the 20 of Boyd.
Spencer Boyd with a spin. Here comes Chandler Smith. He's on the inside of Kaz Grala. This is a battle inside the top 5. I like this Smith kid. I think he's going to be one of the stories we follow all year long.
Just 18 years old. Led the most laps last week. The 22 laps, ended up finishing 9th.
There's Matt Crafton. He's recovered from some questionable strategy early.
Austin Hill going around.
The 16 goes for a spin. There's a fire under the hood. It looks like a bit of a fire. Can he get her fired up? That'll be the question. That could be a caution.
Still sitting, and is that going to bring out the caution as Boyd sits on track as well?
A lot going on, Vince.
Meanwhile, we stay green.
We're not going to stay green long.
And now the caution comes out. Just after the leader, Ben Rhodes, crossed the line with 5 to go.
Was that guy, Ben Rhodes. He didn't want to see that caution. He had driven off away from Sheldon Creed, which is the first time we've really seen anybody do that. Seen anybody put any ground between themselves and Creed, and Rhodes is able to do so. Be interesting to see. We re-rock them and restart again.
Here's Austin Hill getting around.
He was off the pace. Is something wrong? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, flat.
Right rear flat. So he just was trying to limp home and wound up spinning around. You can see all the fire coming out from under the hood. That looks like more than just carburetor backfire. Something went on under there. He wasn't able to get her going again.
So under caution again, going to give us another restart, and Ben Rhodes certainly got the best of that last restart on Sheldon Creed. In fact, Creed fell back behind Riley Herbst through turns 1 and 2, and then ended up regaining that position, but Rhodes had gapped him a bit. So Ben Rhodes, as Michael indicated, certainly didn't want to see that caution. Spencer Boyd trying to get it fired up there in the 20 as he sits. I think we can get a word with the Ben Rhodes. Understand he's got some team communication going on right now. And there's Austin Hill getting pushed back to pit road. Last year's regular season champion. And there's a good look at Rhodes.
Rhodes, you hear him doing what we saw Creed do earlier, shutting that engine off. The only time you have too much fuel, Vince, is when you're on fire. So he's just making sure he's got a little left in the tank for an overtime finish. That's just part of the driver's job. It's a little bit risky, as we talked about earlier, but it's really important.
Saving just to make sure, because you know you might end up having overtime, and you got to make sure that you have enough fuel for those extra laps, if that would be the case. We went overtime last year with Sheldon Creed winning, holding off Brett Moffitt for the victory.
You think between shutting the engine off and riding around under caution, we can get a word with our leader, Rhodes?
You want to give it a shot?
Let's see. Hey, Mr. Kentucky, Michael Waltrip in the booth. Do you copy?
Gotcha, Michael.
Appreciate you talking to us. What a nice restart you just had. How frustrating it is these caution laps. You got a really fast truck. Can you hold off Creed?
I think so. The trick is not to get dumped by Creed. We all know the history of these road courses and what it brings out. So I just want to finish this race with a good, solid finish. First place would be awesome, but at the same time, I don't need to get dumped. So try to get another restart here, give some space, and hopefully sail away with it.
Well, what a great restart that was. I just mentioned, what are the keys to good restarts? How do you get into turn 1 without having that guy run over you?
Well, I just can't. You know what the secrets are, Mikey. You don't need to hear it from me. I don't need to give them away, though, either.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you. Have fun.
Thanks, Michael.
Vince, I just think that's really cool. He's in his game, and he takes a minute off. I mean, sponsors are important. Being able to have Bombardier on the side of his truck, being able to race Toyotas, all those things matter. And you got to take care of your sponsors, but he's trying to win Daytona, and he's just having fun, laughing.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Daytona twice. The only thing better than winning Daytona once is winning it a second time in as many weeks. And what a big win it would be for Rhodes and Toyota. You mentioned Toyota, and this would be the 200th win for Toyota in this series, and what a milestone victory that would be.
Another Toyota driver. What about Crafton? It's been interesting, the strategy that Junior Joyner used. Regan Smith talked about how frustrated Junior was, but Crafton's in 12th, right behind Sam Mayer. Sam started in the back, has been very competitive. And there's John Hunter. John Hunter up to 13th. We know how fast the 4 is. Ran out of fuel. Todd Gilliland made a strong charge earlier. So many great stories up inside the top 10, top 15.
Hey, speaking of great stories, we talked about Marcus Lemonis providing those 500 generators down to Texas and all the issues they're going through. And Camping World has also reached into the pocketbook and provided a lot of extras. Ben Rhodes last week winning that race at Daytona. He and the team each received a $25,000 bonus from Camping World and the CEO, Marcus Lemonis. Special bonuses this season, many of them, including $50,000 to the driver who leads the most laps this season.
Wow.
A lot of good stuff. And for the road crews, the teams, a lot of extras, and that always makes it a little more enticing. Not that they need any more motivation.
Yeah, and if you're a truck driver, you don't have your own Bombardier jet. You're just racing from week to week, trying to make sure you get your team sponsored, buy some tires, get a new engine now and then. And so these bonuses from Camping World mean everything to these teams and drivers. $25,000 bonus. I mean, that's huge for these teams.
Pretty good timing for Bombardier last week. The announcement just before the race at Daytona, the season opener last week, that they were going to be on the Rhodes truck, and then he takes them to victory lane, and boom, there he is in front again tonight with an opportunity to go back to back. But he's going to have plenty of company in these final few laps.
Yeah, and if he thinks Sheldon Creed's going to be aggressive and knows how he races, what do you think about Riley Herbst in this 17? Got him a new ride in the Xfinity Series. Stuart Friesen, after we talked about how he started slow in 2020 and now in a position to win right off the bat here in 2021. Kaz Grala has been impressive as well.
Well, you know, and Grala and Herbst, they're not running for the championship, so they're just here to get the trophy. They're not worried about hurting anybody's feelings tonight.
And I want to let you know, Vince, and you mentioned it earlier, there's not a better trophy than one that says Daytona on it. Those are the best trophies. I don't care if it's the oval, the road course. You win at Daytona, that's something you talk about for a long time to come. In fact, I talked to Michael McDowell today about his big victory in the Daytona 500.
Has he stopped smiling yet?
No, and his ring is so big, and his smile is the only thing bigger than his ring. And we talked about what it meant to win that race and how special it was for him to hear all his competitors be appreciative of what he accomplished. And that'll play on the pre-race show Sunday on Fox, and I hope everybody gets a chance to watch it, because you'll love Michael McDowell even more once you watch that.
Well, and you know what it's like to take home some of those Daytona trophies, a couple of Daytona 500 wins. You won in the Truck Series here, multiple victories at Daytona. By the way, congratulations, you're returning to the seat. You're going to be racing in the SRX Tony Stewart Series, and congrats. I knew you weren't losing all that weight just to be handsome again.
Yeah, I told Tony I I was losing weight for a reason, so I'm going to go racing. But nothing better than racing. You know, that's all we grew up doing, and watching these boys mix it up here at Daytona. Todd Gilliland, we saw him drive straight to the front early, and this guy, Timmy Hill, triple duty this weekend. Vince, running all 3 races. He's inside the top 15 in that 56 truck. That's impressive for Timmy.
Derek Kraus in the 19. Had a solid year last season, looking to build on that this year in the second full campaign.
Nearly won at Darlington. Just a really solid effort he had. You see young Chase Purdy there. Here we come. We're going to go green flag racing. Only 4 to go, Vince.
And when they take the green, there will be 3 laps left. Ben Rhodes and Sheldon Creed taking the green. It's Rhodes leading the way. Creed right there in second on the outside.
Look at John Hunter, 4 wide coming into turn 1. He's bouncing off Johnny Sauter inside.
How about Crafton along the outside trying to get into the mix?
That was an impressive move by Nemechek inside the top 10. 4 trucks in 1 corner. Can he keep it going?
Creed inside for the lead of Ben Rhodes. Side by side, and now it's going to be Sheldon Creed to the front.
That's that braking I talked about, Vince. He just seems to be able to get deeper in the corner than the competitors. Was able to take advantage of that getting in to the infield.
Through turn 4 now up to turn 5, and the right-hander
sliding that left front tire though.
Rhodes coming right back. Ben Rhodes trying to regain advantage. Saw Sam Mayer go off track, and meanwhile it's Rhodes and Creed, and they were rubbing paint, and Creed got the better of it.
I got to tell you, sliding that left front like Creed did, he will lose grip in that tire. It'd be interesting to see.
Oh, the caution is back out, and it's Sam Mayer in that 75 truck.
That's oil too. He needs to get that baby off the road. There's the 15
Tanner
Gray.
It's been an eventful night for Tanner. Boy, big damage to that 75, and there you see.
We're in for a lengthy cleanup because that was oil, the reason why he spun around. What happened, Vince?
Well, we're going to find out right here. Gray and Mayer side by side.
You know what happened, Vince? There's only 3 to go, and these guys are pushing for all they can. You can see Mayer was on the inside, got loose, hit Gray, and then a chain reaction behind him.
All while that was going on, there was a great battle for the lead. Watch Sheldon Creed, the move on the inside of Ben Rhodes. And as it goes back to what you were saying, Mike, about Creed, just seems like he's been able to get it deeper into the corners than the rest of the competitors tonight. And that's where he's had an advantage.
Yeah, that's been impressive the way he's able to dive in the corners. And that's how you win road races. You just out-brake them. Generally, that's how you make passes.
2 and 5. Still 2, still straight line.
See the smoke there? That's when Creed smoked that left front tire.
Well, and Rhodes took advantage, didn't he?
Back up.
And then Creed said, I'm going to need to borrow some of your space, Ben. He moved over to the right and then hit the banks with the lead.
Clear. Left side, right side.
Just the way it ought to be, side by side.
Right side. Back with you. Half back in your line. Right side, right side. Right side tight. You see him right side tight. Clear there, all clear there. Whatever you need.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's TJ Bell, Rhodes a spotter, trying to coach him back up there to get a chance to run at it. And I'm interested to see when it looks like we're going to go just a couple of laps to get to the checker. I don't know how much that big slide of the front tire was for Creed, but it could be a factor, Vince.
Remember, we said they better make sure they have a little extra fuel in case we go NASCAR overtime. That's what we've got. That Boise State Utah State game will follow us here on FS1, but it will start on FS2. So make note of that if you're looking for it.
And you saw that tire slide, Vince? That's the right front. You go into these bankings, load up that right front. I guarantee you there's a vibration there and a loss of grip by Creed. So can Rhodes take advantage of that? Look at Sheldon. He said, I'm going to need your space, buddy, and shoved Rhodes off the road and kept the lead. And then the caution flies. So still a lot of drama, a lot left in this race. A couple of laps to the checker to see who gets that coveted Daytona trophy.
And Rhodes and Creed, no love lost between the two. Both very aggressive drivers, and I don't think Rhodes was all too pleased about Creed running him off the track a little bit there, but all's fair in love and war, right? Or the final couple of laps of a race at Daytona.
I just love how race car drivers have such selective memory. I think we've seen Ben Rhodes shove people around and take advantage of them as well. I don't understand why he's being so critical of our champion Sheldon Creed's driving style. He's aggressive, yes, but I've never really seen him take advantage of anyone, and Rhodes has been guilty of the same type of aggression. So let's do it. You said all's fair in love and war, or whatever you said. Those radios make you feel like the king when you can push that button and say anything you want to your team. Jamie, the leader has got his hands full.
Yes, he does. So he last pitted 20 laps ago. We have 4 laps to go here. They're telling him on the radio, we want you to save, but stop shutting it off. We don't want to risk what happened last time. Of course, he couldn't get it refired. He lost 4 positions. So they said, save as much as you can under power. Don't do that risk. Regan, what are you hearing?
Well, the opposite end of the spectrum is on Ben Rhodes' radio. They are telling him, when we get back to green, run Sheldon Creed as hard as you possibly can. He's very close on fuel. So they're monitoring the situation back here in the 99 truck as well. They want him to put the pressure on him, try and get him to run out.
I don't think running Creed as hard as possible is going to be any issue for Ben Rhodes.
How many of our 20-some drivers on the lead lap you think are mad right now, Vince?
About all of them.
Yeah, they're
mad at somebody.
Their chatter on the radio. Johnny Sauter's not too pleased with John Hunter Nemechek.
Let me ask you this, Mike. We've seen so many of these road course races come down to the final corner and some contact. Do you want to be second, or do you want to be first coming through the chicane here on the final lap when you have an opportunity to maybe move that guy in front of you?
Well, the other night in the Cup race, you wanted to be third because first and second wiped each other out. Every time we go to Canada, you pretty much want to be second because you're going to get wiped if you're first. So I love what we're seeing here. I love that you've got 2 very aggressive racers up front. Riley Herbst with a chance to win a truck race at Daytona. We didn't really see that coming. Didn't know he had this kind of ability on the road racing. And then Sheldon Creed Kazgrala right there in the mix as well. This is going to be an entertaining overtime in NASCAR. I'm glad that it's stocked up like it is. I'm ready to go racing though, baby.
Well, remember, if we get some trucks getting together at the front, say maybe Creed and Rhodes, and it ends up collecting a Herbst and a Friesen, then all of a sudden now you're looking at somebody's 5th or 6th, maybe 7th, end up working their way through the melee to finish it up with the win.
What about John Hunter Nemechek? Out of gas, off the lead lap, got it back inside the top 10, fast truck. Could you come from 9th and win this race in that 4 truck? It's going to be a stretch, but you called it, Vince. There's going to be contact. Who can take advantage of that?
NASCAR overtime, and as you saw a few moments ago when we put the NASCAR overtime rules on the screen, they will take the green flag, and if they come back around and get the white flag, then the next flag that comes out, whether it's the checkers or the caution, will end the race. And here it is again. So the 2-lap shootout, and as mentioned, once the leader takes the white flag, the next flag ends it, whether it's the checkered or the caution. And we'll go as many attempts as necessary if we don't get to the white flag.
Yeah, we will, but some of those trucks won't. They'll only make it through 1, maybe 2, and some of them are going to run out of gas. Yep. So everybody on that racetrack that's up there in that top 5 or 6 is just hoping, let's have 1 overtime, settle it amongst us, because anything after that, you bring a lot of different trucks into play, Vince.
Yeah, and Sheldon Creed, we've heard the reports from downstairs on pit lane that they are concerned about the amount of fuel that they have left. So certainly multiple overtimes would not play into Creed's hand. And they're on the backstretch, and they'll be coming around to get the green flag as you see Chase Purdy in that 23 truck with some tape on his truck. There have been a lot of them that have been beaten and banged on today, and Purdy needs more than some tape on that front end.
Yeah, his Bama buggy's been up. This is what it's all about, overtime to win at Daytona. We know how strong Creed's been, but we listened to Ben Rhodes. He said, I'm right where I want to be in second. That puts him on the offense instead of the defense, and offense in NASCAR means bumper to tailgate. Excuse me, sir, I'm coming through.
You know there's going to be contact on these final laps, and it's just a matter of who can survive, who's in that right spot that can either make contact at the right moment or survive the contact at the right moment, or take advantage of some others getting together and getting out of the groove and you drive by for the win.
I'm almost going to put my money on Riley Herbst in that third position. I think we've heard enough to know that those two up in the front row are going to run into each other at some point. Stuart Friesen sitting there eyeballing all that. Look at Matt Crafton up in the 7th spot. We talked about his strategy being all off the board. Junior Joyner a little bit upset as he gets on that box sometimes, but he's put his driver right up inside the top 10.
Certainly not the way they diagrammed it, that's for sure. Well, through the chicane, the pace truck will go off the track, and that will put the start in the hands of Creed. And he is on the gas. NASCAR overtime at the road course in Daytona. Rhodes sticks with second, and Creed down into turn 1 with the lead, and he gets a little too hard into the corner, and Rhodes is in front. Creed back to second.
They're spinning behind them, but look at that. Riley overshoots the corner, and here comes Herbst in that 17.
Oh, Creed has overshot the 2 corners he's gone through, and he's fallen from first to third. Now can he get this position back and have another shot at Ben Rhodes? He does. Creed to second.
Wow, he's aggressive on entry. I love that about the 2 truck. Look at Crafton up to 4th, beating on the back of the 17 of Herbst. And here comes John Hunter.
Headed toward turn 6, and the left-hander. Rhodes comfortably in front, but you can imagine that lead is not going to stay comfortable for long. Crafton and Herbst battling for third. John Hunter Nemechek right behind.
There's going to be a dive bomb here, Vince. Can Nemechek make it 3 wide, or will he push the 17? Or both?
Gave a push to the 17 and then taking the position from both Crafton and Herbst. What a great move by Nemechek. Nemechek into third. Chasing Sheldon Creed, who's in second, and Ben Rhodes, who's opened up a little bit of a gap.
Wow, what a drive by Rhodes. I wonder if that right front tire on the 2 of Creed is causing him handling issues, because here comes John Hunter right up on his tailgate.
Ben Rhodes into the chicane. He'll get the white flag this time by. Avoid the mistake if you're Ben Rhodes, and maybe you go back-to-back at Daytona.
Around goes Lassard.
And the caution is out. He did not give Rhodes the white flag.
Chet Nolan over on the back has spun around and stuck on the road. There's Austin Wayne Self. There's chaos everywhere, Vince.
Oh, and looking down at the flagman right in front of us, he's got the white flag behind him, behind his back, so he did not give the white flag to Rhodes. The caution was out before Rhodes crossed under the line.
Holy cow, that's just a huge, huge 100 feet from having a victory at Daytona, and now Ben Rhodes has to re-rack it and do it all over again.
Wow.
What about fuel? You hear him saving fuel. We know Creed's close. Can these guys make it? Wow.
Austin Wayne Self got married in the offseason. He married Jordan Anderson's sister, fellow competitor in the racing world. Jennifer.
And Jordan got engaged.
Yeah, to Larry McReynolds' daughter. So it's catching. Don't drink the water.
I won't, thank you.
Here's the contact as Austin Wayne Self goes around and into the wall.
You know, NASCAR, they don't have a choice. They're going to come racing back to that chicane.
Boy, John Hunter Nemechek was all over the bumper of Sheldon Creed. I mean, he was right there.
Look
for a
behind
second.
him, and you see by himself, Lassard goes around. That's costly. But those trucks are going to go flying down the back straightaway and into that chicane. And that truck, the 22 of Self, was stuck there. NASCAR had to throw the caution. Unfortunately for Ben Rhodes, they threw it about 2 seconds sooner than he needed them to.
Under caution for the 8th time tonight. That is a road course record in this series.
Chet Nolan goes around in the 44.
Chet Nolan, by the way, just a 17-year-old making his debut in the Camping World Truck Series, a super late model background from down here in the state of Florida. Expected to run 6 or 7 races this season. Met Cody Efaw as a youngster years ago, and
what
just
is
stayed
he
in
now?
touch. Well, 17, I guess he is still a youngster, depending on your perspective. But stayed in touch with Cody Efaw, and it's ultimately led to an opportunity to drive for Nice Motorsports in some races. And there, unfortunately, is the way his night is coming to an end. On the hook, Chet Nolan.
You don't want to get drug home by a rope, Vince. Maybe Jet can get her refired. He was stuck in the grass. Al Nice's number 44. Been a rough night a bit for Al and his team.
Now remember, if Ben Rhodes would have taken the white flag and then the caution would have come out, Rhodes would have been declared the winner.
How close was it?
This is how close. Watch this.
Ben's thinking victory at Daytona, right?
Coming to the white flag, he thinks he's going to get the white, and oh, the white was out, but nope, they're going to put it behind the back and put that yellow out there. Boy,
man.
That's too close.
What fun would that be, though?
None.
Let's see
For
what
us.
happens. What are these guys thinking? What are they talking about?
Gotta be no way they just threw that right before the line. No way.
They threw the white too, so hold on, we'll see what they say here.
They're not going to say something you're going to like.
No, probably not. The white was in the hand of the flagman, but the caution had come out, and they're going to re-rack him and do it again. And I understand Ben's perspective on that.
Well, I mean, he thought he had a win at Daytona.
Absolutely.
It was so close, but if you watch a lot of NASCAR Race Hub, we have radioactive, and you'll hear a lot of beeps.
There's probably some candidates tonight.
Yeah, the beeps are very, very prevalent when you watch radioactive. We talked to Johnny Sauter the other day about the beeps, and I said, could you, instead of saying beep every time you get mad, just say feathers, maybe. That'd be fun.
You scared me.
I can't feathers the fact that
you scared me. Something fierce. Jamie.
I'll save you, Vince. I'll save you. Just an update on Sheldon Creed in the 2. They're definitely talking about fuel. They're concerned. They're telling him to save all he can, but they also just warned him, watch out for that 4. He's starting on the second row on the inside. John Hunter Nemechek, be careful. We're ready for him to try to wipe us all out.
Well, I'll tell you what a run it's been for Nemechek. He was so good early in the race, won stage 1. Then they had the oil pressure problem, or fuel pickup problem.
They ran out of gas.
And then they ended up running out of gas eventually, and he was a lap down.
We talked about him, though. We knew he was going to be a factor. This truck is so fast, Vince, and watched him claw his way back into contention. And you know, you almost want to make him your favorite now, right? We talked about when Riley Herbst was in 3rd, he was our favorite. Well, this is a faster truck, so maybe John Hunter's the guy to watch. This is going to be a fun NASCAR overtime.
Sheldon Creed has had a couple of issues in trying to get his truck stopped and turned into turn 1.
That's because he's so aggressive.
Yep.
He goes in further than everyone else, and sometimes you miss it. I thought that right front tire, the way he slid it, could be an issue, but so far so good.
Here it is to begin overtime. This was the restart to get us into overtime. And watch Creed. He gets to the corner first, and then, as you said, Mike, just a little bit too aggressive on entry, and
I think a little bit of wheel hop maybe in the back. It took him out of the groove, and then he was losing. Let's see if we can hear a wheel hop. Listen, Vince. Wow, look how close. Nice move by Rhodes. He saw the 2 slipping and sliding and ducked to the bottom and drove off with the lead. We're getting ready to go, buddy.
Overtime number 2 at Daytona. And remember, Creed, they were a little concerned about whether or not he was going to have enough fuel. He's been saving. Rhodes is also in a save mode. Really, probably everybody at this point is saving because you never know, you might get a third overtime, as you see once again our overtime rules. The key is if that leader takes the white flag, then the next flag, caution or checkered, would end the race.
Ben Rhodes was, what, 50 yards from being right now in victory lane, having a fun time with his team. Not so quick, young man. We're going to make it a little bit more difficult. So many hungry drivers right on his tailgate. I love the fact that Crafton has battled back into contention, excuse me.
John Hunter Nemechek and Matt Crafton, Riley Herbst, all there in the top 5. Kaz Grala there.
What about Tyler Ankrum? He was a lap down, got the free pass in the top 10. Derek Kraus, after a challenging week last week on the high banks, back in the top 10 this week. What you'd expect out of that team, competitive every week.
There you see the road course winners in the field. John Hunter Nemechek, Brett Moffitt, and Sheldon Creed.
I'll tell you who's hoping for about 4 overtimes. That's Stuart Friesen, because he came in and got some gas. He couldn't make it, so he's all fueled up. But can he make his way back through the field? I don't know how many laps some of these guys can make it. It's been since lap 22 since Creed pitted. He's just wanting to see the white flag, hopefully ahead of the field.
A lot of anxious crew chiefs right now, hoping they've got enough fuel to get to the end.
I'm an anxious
Lucius,
TV analyst, wondering what's going to happen when they go green flag racing. What if somebody stumbles, their truck doesn't pick up all its fuel? Could be a big crash.
Through the chicane, and the pace truck will pull off, and it'll be Ben Rhodes and Sheldon Creed on the front row for overtime number 2 at Daytona. Who do you got? Who's going to win it? Green back out.
I think you're going to hear a lot out of that Ford truck.
Ford's on you tight, clear right. On you tight. Do what you do in your mirror. Ford following you. Your tire track.
Rhodes getting a big push from Nemechek, stacking up behind him. Sheldon Creed in 3rd.
Can Crafton find any room on the road? Around goes Ankrum, around goes Chandler Smith.
Big stack up of drivers
now
over in turn 1.
Those trucks have got to come back through there. Hopefully they can resume under power so we stay green.
Rhodes continues. Everybody back moving that had gone off course. Rhodes trying to now hold off John Hunter Nemechek. Can he do it? Sheldon Creed in 3rd, surely to be in the mix before it's all said and done. On board with Creed.
Caution's out, safe.
Caution.
No way. Oh. That's some of these guys are going to have to pit, Vince.
Richard Lucius, the crew chief for Ben Rhodes, thinking not again.
Rhodes last pitted on 26. A lot of cautions. He's probably fine. John Hunter on 34. He's definitely good. But
the guys really that pitted at lap 22 are the ones that are nervous, right? Sheldon Creed, Riley Herbst, Sauter, if you look into the top 10.
Yeah, I'm nervous. Wondering who's going to make it.
Joe Cobb had come to a stop and could not get fired again. That's the reason for the caution. And you see her hand movement saying, just give me a push.
Yeah. Kansas City, Kansas. Jennifer Jo Cobb, always competitive here at Daytona. You see she got her best career finish here, 6th in 2011. 212 truck starts.
How about a 3rd overtime? Triple overtime on the road course at Daytona coming up. We're getting ready for triple overtime. This is how close Ben Rhodes was to winning this race earlier. The white flag was going to come out, and the caution lights, the caution superseded the white flag, and that created another overtime period.
And some frustration.
So now it's overtime number 3 as you see some repairs to the Johnny Sauter truck.
Yeah, he pitted from the top 10, Vince, low on fuel, getting ready to go back racing when we come back.
Radio from the 99 of Ben Rhodes.
Fuel here, safe fuel.
I'm worried about my tires. I mean, we're burning them off like hell on every start.
Well, that's fair. He's worried about his tires, but save fuel too. I want you to worry about that as well. There's a lot you got to be concerned with. Mainly, I think you got to be concerned with John Hunter being so aggressive. We know what he will do, how hard he will push, and then that 2 truck with his entry into the corners. He's been able to get in further than anybody all night.
Yeah, if I'm Ben Rhodes, I'm not worried about my tires or the gas near as much as I am being surrounded by John Hunter Nemechek and Sheldon Creed.
Yeah, what are you going to do about those?
Yeah.
The other 2? You can't really do anything about your tires and your fuel is what you got. What you can do is keep your eyeball on those 2 trucks that surround him, and know how hungry Kaz Grala in that 02 truck will be as well. This is quite the finish this is shaping up to be.
Well, it's been shaping up to be a great finish for quite a while now.
Yeah, and it's still shaping up. Got to burn those tires in. You heard that. Toyota going for its 200th win right now, 1st and 2nd. Sheldon Creed, Kaz Grala, they don't want to hear anything about that.
Kaz Grala has won in the Camping World Truck Series before, once, and he did it here at Daytona on the Oval, 2017, the season opener. Of course, John Hunter Nemechek, 6 wins in the series. Sheldon Creed, the defending series champion. Ben Rhodes won just last week here at Daytona. Got to go back to Riley Herbst, looking for his first Camping World Truck Series win in that 5th spot, and he's just kind of doing a one-off. He's looking for his full-time gig is tomorrow in the Xfinity Series. Thought, come down here, get some laps.
You can see right behind him, there's Todd Gilliland and Derek Kraus in the 19 Napa truck, raced into contention here. Let's go, boys. Let's see who's able to hang on, because there's going to be some pushing and shoving. Timmy Hill, see him in the 56 back there, pulling triple duty, raced up inside the top 10. Great stories, Vince.
Yeah, that's with starting alongside Brett Moffitt, who had some contact earlier and has got some tape on that left front.
What about 11th place? That black #1 Monster Energy truck. That's Haley Deegan. Very competitive run for Haley. That's awesome. The Bama Buggies truck, we talked about, it was dragging everything it's got. He's inside the top 15 there is Chase Purdy.
So through the chicane here on the front stretch, and the pace truck is off.
Come on, boys and girls. Keep them heading the right direction. Let's settle this baby.
Ben Rhodes on the inside, John Hunter Nemechek on the outside. This is the 3rd overtime.
Look at Crafton. Where's he going? I don't know, but he's going there in a hurry.
Crafton hard on the outside, but it's going to be Creed and John Hunter Nemechek grabbing 2nd and 3rd behind Rhodes.
Look at Creed. Watch him on these entries to the corner. We've seen it all night long.
Todd Gilliland trying to make up some ground on the outside inside the top 5 in that 38 truck with some pretty significant damage up front. But it's Rhodes leading Creed as they head toward turn 5.
Slipping those back tires, you see from on board Creed's helmet. That's a beautiful view.
Creed chasing Ben Rhodes. They make their way through turn 6 up onto the oval portion of the track. Haley Deegan has gone off course.
That's going to be hard for her to get rolling, as much rain as we've had. Can the racers get back to the white flag? That's the question.
Ben Rhodes leading Sheldon Creed. They're on the backstretch, headed toward the bus stop.
Oh, Ben misses the chicane a bit there. That allows Creed to close in. He'll make a big run on him coming into the front stretch.
It's Rhodes, Creed, and John Hunter Nemechek, and then a pretty good gap back to fourth of Todd Gilliland. Creed closing the gap on Ben Rhodes. Coming to the chicane on the front stretch. Rhodes gingerly through. Creed right there on his tail.
What about Rhodes, Vince? Not only does he not have to worry about missing the corner, getting in too deep. There's the white flag. This race is official. We'll see which flag ends it. Will it be yellow or checkered?
The next flag, the yellow flag or the checkers flag. Which one is going to determine the outcome? It's Creed chasing Ben Rhodes. Rhodes won last week right here at Daytona on the oval, trying to become just the third driver to win the first two races in the NASCAR Truck Series to begin a season. And he's got to hold off Sheldon Creed, last season's champion, and the winner here a year ago.
Wow. Great corner there by Rhodes. You can see him lighting up those brakes and sliding the tires, giving it all he's got, Vince.
Goodbye, 3 here.
Through 5, headed to 6.
Couple of 3 more chances for Creed to use that braking skill he's shown all night. Closes in there.
Creed continuing to pursue Ben Rhodes. It's the final lap at Daytona in the third overtime.
The toughest thing to do if you're Ben Rhodes is to watch that mirror and hit the corners. He's got to be precise. He's got to be perfect in order to hold off Creed.
Headed to the bus stop. Can't make a mistake here. Rhodes gets through cleanly.
What a nice set of corners there for Rhodes. That's going to open up enough gap. I think he's got this, baby, Vince.
And the caution is out, and it will be Ben Rhodes back to back to open the season.
Ben Rhodes, that's 2 in a row. Daytona, baby.
His 5th career win, his 2nd in as many weeks.
Heck yeah, you're the man.
And the 200th for Toyota in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
2 in a row.
God, that's over. Most stressful race of my life, but I love you guys. Thanks so much, guys. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Great job, buddy. Great job.
Ben Rhodes, the winner in triple overtime on the road course at Daytona.
Toyota's put together a nice little set of wins there, haven't they? Number 200. Every time somebody says 200 wins, all I think about is Richard Petty. It's really cool to see Toyota have that kind of success. And this team, what about that, Vince? Switched manufacturers in the offseason. We wondered how long would it take them to get up to speed?
Not very long.
2 for 2.
Yeah. Rhodes, Sheldon Creed, John Hunter Nemechek, Todd Gilliland, and Riley Herbst. Your top 5.
Louisville, Kentucky's Ben Rhodes. Check out this last restart. I like his launch here, Vince. Really, really timed it perfectly. You see John Hunter spun his tires a little bit on the outside. That opened the door for Creed to hop behind him. But Ben Rhodes just took control of this race.
And really, it just gave him a little bit of space. So smooth through turn 1. Didn't overdrive it.
I can't tell you, Vince, how difficult it is for Rhodes because he knows the dive bombs are coming. He knows these guys are going to be trying to force him out of the groove. He's got to watch the road ahead of him, make sure he brakes and shifts properly, and also watch that mirror.
From the visor cam of Sheldon Creed, headed to turn 1.
When Creed sees these tires smoke up ahead, he thinks, that's all, my door's open, but he just couldn't quite get there. You can hear him trying. You see him cross it up as he spun those back tires. Oh, bit of a missed shift there.
Ben Rhodes just didn't make any mistakes.
I mean, that's so impressive. That late, he talked about his tires. He was burning them off, how much he had wore his tires. He was concerned about that and fuel. He was able to persevere and put this one away. It's got to be so cool to come to Daytona with no Daytona victories and leave here with 2. What a great time for Ben Rhodes and that team. His crew chief, Rich, just a good man, really taking advantage of his opportunities. Been the truck chief over there, now crew chief, and putting up those numbers.
Yeah, Rich Lucius been the truck chief at the 13 for Johnny Sauter's team, taking over as crew chief on the 99.
He's got this, right, Vince?
I think he's off to a good start. Yes, 2 for 2. And congratulations to all those at ThorSport. Duke and Rhonda Thorson, they do so much and have been such great contributors in this series. What a joy it is to see their driver burn it down at Daytona for the 2nd week in a row.
Smoke them if you got them. He had enough gas and tires to do a nice smoky burnout here at the start-finish line. Here he comes out of that truck. Fans are waving and cheering him on.
Oh, that great feeling of running up to grab the checkered flag. 2nd week in a row he's been able to do it. 23 years old from Louisville, Kentucky, his 5th career win. Daytona has been good to Ben Rhodes. Jamie Little's with the winner.
Ben Rhodes wins Toyota's 200th win in the Truck Series. You come here to Daytona, Ben, and you win on the oval. 1 week later, you win on the road course. How do you describe this week and this moment?
Unbelievable. I don't have words for it. I don't even know what to say. This is so cool. I just have to thank my team. Bombardier Tundra was fast all day. ThorSport Racing gave me a truck that handled this year, and we were fast. Rich is a good crew chief, really good crew chief. Good to be paired up with them. All the guys on my team. I'm just thrilled. I don't know what to say. I've been on cloud 9 all week, so this is just, I don't know what's above that. I'm just so happy.
Ben Rhodes makes it 2 for 2 on the season, Regan.
Well, the other end of that battle, Sheldon Creed, just not quite enough tonight. Had a fast truck, but in the end, 2nd place.
Yeah, that's never fun to be the first loser, but guys brought a fast truck. I felt like we were on top of the strategy there, going to slicks early, and man, I got hit by that lapper there leading, and I don't think that did us any favors. And then got to the lead, stalled it, just saving fuel, and then worked my way back to the lead. Got pushed out of the way on a restart, and man, just doing everything I could there. Wish we could have stayed green. I don't know, the guys in the back of the pack were all over the place, but nonetheless, got to thank my grandfather, all my guys, GMS Fabrication, Maury Gallagher, everyone at GMS. Been doing a great job. Josh Wise, Scott Speed, thank you guys. Got to go attack next week.
Thanks, Sheldon.
How about that range of emotion? You heard Ben Rhodes speechless, and then Sheldon Creed's like, darn, that wasn't any fun. And just one spot separated the two of them. But that's what Daytona's all about, just getting that checker flag, the trophy here, nothing better.
And he said 2nd place, first loser. I mean, that's really what they come here to win. They don't come here to finish 2nd. Congratulations to Ben Rhodes. Certainly give our thanks to Jamie Little and Regan Smith for a great job on pit road. Michael Waltrip, I'm Vince Welch. Ben Rhodes, he said, what's above cloud 9? How about cloud 99? He did it. Coming up, college basketball, Utah State and Boise State right now.